So what's your relationship like with Q50? You know, we saw y'all linked up, you know.
Bleed.
What you think about Q50? That's like Lil Jeff, right-hand man.
What I think about him, what you mean? That's look Bleed, black. Brr.
Oh, you online, you know, as soon as you got out, you sniffed the perk with Q50 online. Feel.
I'm finna sniff one right now.
Even in his,
you know what's crazy? You know Jay Boogie, like Jay Boogie under us, shorty. Like I was in the field and this kid, like this Lil Jeff brother, like on David. I don't know how this gonna play out.
Death threat, death threat all you want to, bro. That's just some words, man. Do be an action.
I understand everybody's sad, but hey, somebody got to be sad at the end of the day. We need to get this together. Say he ain't claiming the hood still.
But he Trap City.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
from.
That's
how the fuck
all
you gonna
weird,
do that
bro.
and you over Saturday night blood? Like you can't.
But we already know Trap City and Drill City was the same in water. Like that's our family.
From his interviews, Trady Rob always came off as a chill, composed guy. But now it seems like there's a whole different side to him. Reports from the courtroom suggest his behavior has become unpredictable, even erratic. And honestly, the signs may have been there all along, especially after the incident involving Lil Jeff, which left the city shocked and divided. Trady Rob was initially arrested in connection with the case after a witness reportedly placed him at the scene. But after deeper investigation, authorities couldn't confirm his direct involvement in what happened. As a result, his charges were reduced from the original allegation to an unrelated firearm charge. That alone sparked a ton of conversation online, especially on Reddit, where fans followed the developments closely. Not long after, a photo of Trady Rob surfaced showing him in high spirits. A relief to his growing fan base, who saw him not as a criminal, but as someone who stood up for himself in a high-stakes environment. From past interviews, it was clear Rob wasn't one to back down. He carried himself with confidence and talked often about loyalty, respect, and protecting what mattered to him. And even though some people were heartbroken over what happened to Lil Jeff, Trady stood firm, saying he did what he felt was necessary in that moment. As for the streets, tensions have definitely risen, with talk of people seeking revenge. But Trady Rob doesn't seem fazed. Much like how rapper Quando Rondo brushed off online threats after the King Von situation, Trady is focused and staying ready. Then came June 8th, 2024. Footage began circulating of a tragic incident on the 6,600 block of South Rhodes Avenue in Chicago. Around 5:14 p.m., according to reports, someone was struck during an altercation and later passed away at the hospital. Authorities haven't confirmed suspects, but CCTV footage painted a chaotic scene with multiple individuals present, movement between parked cars, and a fast-developing confrontation. Lil Jeff was seen exiting a vehicle and approaching someone, possibly in pursuit. But just as quickly, others emerged and an exchange unfolded. Jeff was hit during the confrontation and fell near a porch. His friends rushed to his side and later attempted to transport him to the hospital. Despite their efforts, he tragically didn't survive. Scanner reports stated that over 50 shell casings were recovered at the scene, a sign of just how intense the moment was. Another individual, identified as the man Jeff initially approached, also suffered an injury and was treated at a nearby hospital. The loss shook the city, and now emotions are running even higher because of one person, Lil Jeff's older brother, Jay Boogie. Jay Boogie had only a few months left on his sentence when he received the heartbreaking news about his brother. They hadn't been on good terms before the incident, which made the situation even harder. In a leaked email, Jay Boogie expressed regret and sadness, saying it felt like they had grown apart. He was hoping to reconnect, but now that chance is gone. And that's where the pressure begins. The streets, and especially the internet, are full of voices calling for Jay Boogie to take action. But the situation isn't that simple. The people allegedly responsible were once part of the same circle. There wasn't direct conflict between Jay Boogie and Trady Rob's crew. In fact, they had mutual connections and shared roots in the same community. It's a painful and complicated mess. In a recent blog, OTF Black, who's reportedly close to both sides, explained that he was locked up with Jay Boogie's father, and that Jay himself was raised under the Black disciples, just like Trady. The streets may expect retaliation, but real life isn't always that black and white. And according to Trap City Rob, Jay Boogie was still representing the Bloodhounds while he was behind bars. So when word got out that he'd be coming home 2 years early, and just a few months after losing his younger brother, everyone was wondering which side he'd stand on. Would he stay loyal to the Bloodhounds, a crew he's been tied to since the start? Or would he fall back and stick to his longtime friends? Well, you know what they say, blood runs deep. 3 months after Lil Jeff's passing, Jay Boogie came home and didn't leave people guessing. He hit Instagram Live and made it clear who he was riding with, showing up on camera with Q50 and other familiar faces. Even in his first sit-down interview with DJ UTV, he let it be known that he and Q50 are tight, which says a lot considering Q50 was right there when Lil Jeff lost his life. And now with emotions still raw and the streets talking, the pressure is rising. Not just from outsiders or social media comments, but maybe even from within. Jay Boogie might be carrying some guilt of his own. In that same DJ UTV interview, he admitted something that hit fans hard. He was the one who introduced Lil Jeff to that lifestyle. He said he jumped off the porch at 13, and it wasn't long before Jeff followed. Soon Jeff was hanging with Q50 and others who were known to live fast and wild. Q50 even posted online that he was spending hundreds on pills daily, and other Bloodhound affiliates like Vert admitted the same. Vert was often so out of it that he'd fall asleep during interviews. Even one of the people allegedly involved in Jeff's death roasted the crew online, saying they were too deep into that lifestyle and calling them unreliable. There's even talk that the day Jeff passed, many of them weren't thinking clearly. That could explain why things spiraled so quickly and why decisions were made that couldn't be undone. And if that wasn't enough, just 1 month later, the Bloodhounds took another devastating hit. On June 7th, a rising artist from their circle, Lil Sh and his teenage friend, were caught in a heated argument in the Chatham neighborhood. Things escalated and shots were fired. Lil Sh didn't make it. It sent shockwaves through the city. His label shared a heartfelt message, calling him a visionary and creative force who was deeply loved. His friends survived, but the pain of the loss still lingers. Despite all this, the Bloodhounds remain active, and tensions with their rivals haven't cooled. What's even more surprising is how Lil Jeff's parents reacted to everything. After Jeff's passing, his father took to social media in a way that caught everyone off guard. But even before all that, Jeff's mom had shown a surprising stance. Instead of discouraging his street involvement, she appeared to embrace it. In a post Jeff once shared, she praised him, saying his name was ringing bells. "I love it. Keep handling business." That's what Lil Jeff's mother reportedly wrote to her son, words that stunned the internet. This wasn't a concerned mom urging her child to step away from danger. It was encouragement. And for Lil Jeff, that support meant everything. He proudly shared the screenshot online, adding a caption that suggested he felt validated, energized even, by his mom cheering him on. The tension soon reached another flashpoint. On October 20th, 2024, local news reported a tragic incident in Chicago's Oakland neighborhood. That evening at around 8:41 p.m. on South Ellis Avenue, emergency services responded to reports of a shooting. According to witnesses, 2 individuals approached a man and opened fire before leaving the scene in a white vehicle. The victim, identified as 33-year-old Chauvel Carter, was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center. Despite medical efforts, he passed away due to his injuries. Carter was believed to have ties to Trap City and had previously been rumored to have tensions with Lil Jeff's circle. Whether or not his death was directly connected to earlier events, it didn't take long for speculation and cryptic online posts to swirl. Several people close to Lil Jeff posted vague but suggestive messages. One of his friends, Q50, posted a story with 3 symbolic emojis and a caption that many interpreted as a sign that the group had finally avenged their loss. "Now I can focus and move forward," he wrote. But it's not over. And sadly, it wasn't. Just days later, tragedy struck again, and this time, it had nothing to do with the streets. On November 2nd, a peaceful funeral procession turned into something far worse when a woman was caught in the crossfire. She was participating in her brother's service, hoping to pay her respects, when shots rang out near 147th Street and Sealy Avenue in Dixmoor. Police responded to a vehicle crash, only to discover that the woman behind the wheel, a 34-year-old attending her brother's memorial, had been injured in the gunfire. She was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries proved too severe. The loss devastated the community, as many pointed out that she was an innocent bystander, simply trying to say goodbye to a loved one. Her death sent shockwaves far beyond the streets of Chicago. What had started as a feud had now claimed another life, this time someone with no connection to the conflict. There were even claims that Lil Jeff had involvement in other violent situations, including an incident where a member of Trap City named Jal Algos Leal was attacked while sitting in a rideshare vehicle. It took place in an unlikely area of Chicago, a quiet neighborhood near a university. Despite his family's connection to a well-known anti-violence group, Leal's involvement in street conflicts may have contributed to the outcome. What stood out to many was Lil Jeff's online behavior. Rather than staying quiet, he would often post cryptic messages, implying his involvement or satisfaction in rival losses, sometimes even using emojis to reference events. These weren't random posts. For those who understood the context, they told a story of escalating violence and rivalry. There were other incidents too, an especially heartbreaking case involving two young adults, D.H.E. McGee and Lil Deuce, who lost their lives in a late-night shooting. Though not officially confirmed, many on social media speculated that Lil Jeff knew more than he let on. The subtle references in his posts, including the use of certain emojis, led people to believe he was sending messages to his rivals without naming names. But one moment that especially disturbed the city came on January 26, 2024. Two high school students, Monty and Lil Rob, were tragically shot during their lunch break near their school in downtown Chicago. The attack appeared targeted, and sadly, both teens passed away after being rushed to the hospital. The online reaction was swift. Lil Jeff was again posting cryptic messages, including the number 2 and a pair of graduation cap emojis, sparking speculation that he was referencing the teens. To some, Lil Jeff had become the face of a ruthless drill culture. He wasn't shy about portraying himself as someone who wouldn't back down and had no regrets. He even tattooed 10 teardrops on his face, with 2 of them connected, another possible reference, according to online chatter, to that same tragic incident. Which brings us to his alleged killer, Trady Rob. For many online, Trady's name now carries a strange mix of fear, controversy, and, in some circles, support. Some believe he acted out of necessity. Others argue he stepped into a mess that could have been avoided. Still, his time behind bars remains a topic of ongoing discussion, and many are waiting to see whether his legal situation will change. As this story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. The cycle of violence keeps turning, and the question remains, will anyone step up to finally break it? Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss future uploads. This is the Truth News channel, where we break down the stories behind the headlines. See you next time.